Evening, everyone. It's 5:30 on Thursday, and this is your closing comment, and it is video number 825. I remind you again, if you like the work, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Okay, so we had all kinds of news today. After the close, during the day, we had the announcement of a possible infrastructure deal. We'll have to see how that shakes out, but the infrastructure stocks, in fact, were higher. And then after the close, we had the Fed's stress test. All 23 of the big banks passed. And you can expect that over the next couple of days, we'll start to hear about what the formula for buybacks and dividends is and what everybody is intending to pay. Just a recap of this morning's stuff. We had initial claims 411,000 down 7,000, and we had continuing claims 3.39 million down 144,000. We had the final first quarter GDP at 6.4%, unchanged from the last look. We had durable goods up 2.3% versus an expectation of 2.6%, so a little bit of a disappointment there. But ex-transportation, which is car rentals and used cars, etc., the number was only 0.3%, so that was a beat. We also had Eli Lilly being given breakthrough status for their Alzheimer's drug. The stock closed 232.97, up 15.97 or 7.3%. We had Nike earnings after the close, and they beat both top and bottom line. The stock had closed at $133.60, up $0.50, currently trading $142, up $9.33 or 7%. FedEx also beat. A little bit different result, though. It had closed at $303.77, up $6.40, and is currently $290, down 13. BlackBerry also had earnings, and it's kind of difficult to read whether they were a beat or a miss, but the stock had closed at $12.67, down 47, and the last is $12.94, down only 20, so possibly they were not a big disappointment. But as one of the leading meme stocks, earnings is really not the issue in general. In the market, we had new all-time highs for the NASDAQ and the S&P, both closing in new high territory. We had the Dow up 322.58 or just under 1%. NASDAQ up 98 or 0.7%. We had the S&P up 24.65, 5.58. The Russell was the big winner again, up 30.15 or 1.31%, and the Dow Transport's up just under 80, right around 0.5%. Market internals were positive, with the NYSE 2.1 to 1 higher, the NASDAQ 2.5 to 1 higher, and the volume just right around the same area as what we had yesterday, about 4.3 billion composite. Okay, so the chart on the screen is the oil, and this morning when we talked, it was down almost 80 cents. As you can see, I'm going to pull this out a little so you can see it a little better. But it did close up on the day and pretty close to on the high of the day, 73.30, up 22. Did not make a new high, so this is going to be one of those days. So like, I don't know, 18 out of 22 or whatever that number is. But I included the Bollinger Bands here because it's kind of interesting. It rarely hits the lower Bollinger Band. The last time that it did it was here on the sell-off from, sell-off from 67 down to 61.50. before that here, the time before that back in October. However, it does, when it's moving, tend to run along the top Bollinger Band, and while that keeps it somewhat in check, it does not reverse it. We had it here, we're riding it here, touching it here, and riding it again, and right up till yesterday. So this is kind of interesting. All of the moving averages are still pointing higher. The Bollinger Bands, have expanded pretty substantially. We're well above the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50, the 20, and the 5. So looks like we're going higher here. There does seem to be a little bit of short covering here. As you can see, while the price is going up, open interest is going down, and that is generally short covering. 1 second, and the other big issue here was Bitcoin. And it, in fact, managed, after being down this morning in an area that I was somewhat concerned about. 1 second, let's bring it out. That I was somewhat concerned about. It did, in fact, make a new recovery high. Yesterday's was 34,835. Today's was 35,245, and it did close towards the high. So looks like we're, going to try this 38,000 area, and the 5-day is still moving down, but kind of flattening out a little. It too hit the lower Bollinger Band, but it has done that on a regular basis. But unlike the oil, this actually tends to turn it in the opposite direction. But again, this period here, it rode it all the way up to the top, right up until this day, which on a weekly chart has a gap to the downside, obviously here. So we'll see how that goes. All right, everyone, that's about it for tonight. The dollar was up a penny, and the bonds were up about 1/8 of a dollar. Tomorrow we have personal income and spending. We have PCE and the core PCE, and we have the University of Michigan consumer sentiment. All right, everyone, that's it for today. I'll be back first thing in the morning, and don't forget to subscribe.